Hello everyone, my name is Eli Torres. I'm the Education Programs Manager at Museum Los Gatos, and welcome to Cut and Paste. Cut and Paste is our collage demo series. We're out for tutorials on basic collage techniques. Today the technique that I'm going to be demonstrating is what I call a contour. Basically this is taking an image of, say, a person, taking their outline or their silhouette, their contour, taking that out using an X-acto knife, and then putting a different kind of pattern or image behind to give this surreal effect. I love this technique because it's so fun and easy. You can get really awesome results really quickly. Let's get started. Here is my example. This is the final image that I was going for. As you can see, I started with this picture of Bela Lugosi's Dracula, and I cut out their faces, just their faces. And then I took another image and placed it behind. For materials, I've got a cutting mat, scissors, glue stick, X-acto knife, Bristol paper for my backing, and of course my collage materials. I found this out of a compendium of classic horror movies, and then I also have this fabulous old atlas. There's lots of really cool images. I love using old books like this. So first to start, I'm just gonna cut this away. Isn't that kind of spooky? I just love the smell of old books. Is that weird? So be sure that when you're using an X-acto knife, you're always using a new blade. It can be very dangerous, especially if you're not used to using them very much. And a dull blade is always more dangerous than a sharp, fresh one. Get cleaner cuts, smoother cuts. One other good tip when using an X-acto knife in order to be safe, you never want to try and cut towards yourself. Try and cut kind of outwards. And as you're cutting, you want to rotate the paper more than you're rotating the knife. And you'll kind of see that I use my other hand a lot rotating the paper as I cut. Now, this is the fun part because, after you've cut out the figure's face or the figure's body, whatever it is, you can basically just take your full image and place it on all kinds of different backgrounds to decide what you want. Do I want my character to have a crystal face? Do I want my character to have constellation face? Do I want my character to have a California coast face? I decided that I'm gonna go ahead and cut out, what is this, an opal? I'm gonna cut out this illustration of an opal, or is that a photograph? Whatever it is, I'm gonna cut this out. I really enjoy the contrast of this bright color with the black and white of my overlaid image. I think that's a really beautiful color contrast. It gives this figure kind of like an icy, otherworldly, extra-dimensional vibe. I'm just cutting this piece into a little bit more of a organic shape. I think, when I press this down over it, you'll probably see a little bit of an outline there, like a little bit of a halo, just from kind of like the shape of the paper pressing on itself. And having an organic shape will make it look a little bit less kind of stark. So I'm gonna take my glue stick and I'm just gonna place it kind of on the corners here. It's okay if you get it in the middle because this particular type of glue stick dries clear, so I shouldn't have to worry about it. And I am going to take my character and just position it where I think is most interesting. My next step is to take my glue stick and just smear it all over the back. And I'm positioning it in the corner so I have a nice border that frames my final image. And I'm just eyeballing it. It doesn't need to be perfect. And now for the final step, I am just going to cut out my frame. Ta-da! All it really takes is an eye for an interesting portrait or an interesting figure, an interesting form, and then just kind of playing around with what that background texture or pattern can be. So yeah, really fun, easy technique. Here is the close-up of the final images. Like I said, I like to create contrast. So using something that's black and white versus a color image in the background, I think makes for a really visually compelling image. And playing with words with the images can also help create a bit of a story. So that's all I have for you today. Oh, and one more thing, always make sure to put the lid back on your X-acto knife. These can be very dangerous. It really just takes practice working with these very carefully. Always go slow. Save yourself the trouble and go slow with this. Like I said, they can be very dangerous, but they're a really, really fun tool. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in with me today. I love this technique. I use it a lot myself just for when I kind of want to play around. Collage for me, like I always say, is a really relaxing, meditative activity for me. If you'd like to support the museum, make sure to like this video, subscribe, share it, and also I would love to see your artworks in response to this. Try this technique out. Send it to me. Send a direct message. I'll make sure to post it on our Instagram story feed. So if you thought this was an interesting technique and you feel like you could have fun with it, I would love to see your rendition and your version of it. So be sure to send us a message. I'd love to see it.